Man, we did not. We did not get much progress there. So, room day 55. I believe I'm 55 cents allowance. Why did my phone just restart? Oh, okay, because there is an update. I can't draw 55. Yep, day 55, allowance 55. Smack. Okay. Break room's not bad to get right off the bat. Solve for keys. Hey, you. I already have the security key cards, so it doesn't give us dupes. Alrighty then. 19. Let's get this show started. Okay. So 16 minus 5 is 11. Times 2 is 22. Divided by 11 is 2. 8 squared is 64. Minus 20 is 44. Divided by 11 is 4. Okay. 1 squared is 1. You're fine. 1 negative 17 times wait a second. That is not minus, that is multiplicative. 1 times 10 is 10. Times 8 is 80. Divided by 20 is 4. Really? Really? Is 4. Secret garden! The next date is Simon's birthday. Aww. Oh, like a birthday cake! Oh, that would be so cool if there's like a birthday cake. I think I'm gonna have to let Lucy out the door real quick. Do you need to go potties? Do you need to go potties? Or do you just want attention? Or do you actually need to go potties? Yeah, that's what I thought. No, we're not going to the couch. Do you need to go potties? Come on. Want to go potties? Okay. That's what I thought. She's like, come sit on the couch and pet me. I knew it. But because there's a door outside right there, I'm like, doggo needs me. No, you don't. You're just being a whiny boochy pooch. Oh my gosh, I'm putting drops in Calypso's ears this morning, and Lucy's like, yes, what are you doing? And then I go to do the den. Then I'm giving Calypso, no joke, Benadryl. I'm giving Calypso Benadryl, and Lucy's like, oh, is it a treat? Is it a treat? Is it a treat? Can I have the treat? Can I have some? Can I have some? Ay, ay, ay. Ah! I want you, but I don't want you to. Hey, Security. Security. Okay. I'm going to come back for you, Security. Let's go. Let's finish. Let's go ahead and just go outside. Let's. Oh, dang it. I was spun around yesterday. Sleeping mask, magnifying glass, and gems. I don't think we've actually had a bedroom yet, so we haven't wasted any. Hi, 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 hi. Yes, yes, I see you. Right, we haven't had a bedroom, so that's not wasted. Okay, let's go take a look at what the room is outside. Draw out a room! Simon's birthday is January 28th. Hmm. Ooh, tomb. We unlock. Okay, that stupid late day where I got to look at the book, A New Clue. I also got in here. Oh, oh, oh. Well, hello. Thank you. Um, I got in here and I was desperately trying to get all the things done before it was 1 in the morning. It was ridiculous. It was late. Dead ends give us money. We unlocked secrets here. One of which I want. I'm not going down there. One of which I want. I want the locket. May have to go down there, but I don't want to start. Ha ha ha, it was down here. I'm trying to save my steps. Hey, if you guys want to give me more shinies, I'll take them. Oh, I don't got a shovel! Alright, well, mental note, there's a shovel. Hey, you. Hi, hi. Thank you! We have her ladyship's diary key! Yes! 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 Hi, Severed Fang! Congratulations on your 93-month Twitch anniversary, and thank you so much for all of you who are subscribers. Lily, oh my gosh, I need to send you that. It could be worth looking. Now, we want to plan on getting her ladyship's room. Your body is made up 100% made up of nachos. Sodium, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Nice. Exactly. Just draw south. Draw south. Exactly. I think going up the middle in general is good. If you're looking to do dead ends, off the middle is okay. Like I said, Midlet is in respite again tonight. So yesterday was super important. I don't know why I'm looking at that. Yesterday was super important that she be at respite because I was getting a procedure done. Okay, so there's a couple of diggy spots in here. And of course we know that we get our shiny. Now. Oh, ho 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 ho. I'm really excited about, here we go, we're out. About having the diary key. Hey, you know what? It's been pretty easy as long as we're on the west side and drilling down. As long as we're on the west side and looking down, it's been a thing. That is so good. So we really want to make sure that we watch our steps. Try to focus on getting steps. Now I am going to go to the right first because I want to take care of the security. We have the key card, so let's take care of, basically we're going to retrace our steps. Yes, I know. It's only a few. Anything shining in security? Okay. So, keycard system. Hi, baby. Unlocked. And while we're here, oh, should have. I was trying to do the security thing. While we're here, I want to log into the network because I do have access to log in remotely once a day. If you get a key card, drop everything, go straight from the foundation and start drafting from there. Well, I have been doing the key card. I've been sleeping in the break room, so I start with the key card. And then I've been trying to go low to get the... you mean for her ladyship, or you just mean in general? Okay, I'm like, because I've been trying to get security to jack things up. Okay. Yeah. That's totally a thing we can do for sure. Okay. So, experimental setup. So I am planning on it being a nice long, kind of a long chill day, like Saturday. Only it's a random Wednesday, and I can, Midlet's not here to be like, uh-oh, it's 7, it's 8, we're screwed. When she gets grumpy. Gain a key, a gem, or a die randomly whenever you draft an archetype plan. The next 3 times you open a locked trunk. Let's do the 2 or more gems crafting a room because that's often. And I'm thinking, give us a random something. Give us a random something shiny we can use right now. Pretty sure that's them. Okay, so we've jacked that price up. The furnace. Hey, we've officially had the conservatory in every corner. I mean, you could give me the shovel if you want. Hopefully we get the shovel. The irony. Rare flora and floor plants are seen so seldom and represented in such few numbers that they are considered by many to be endangered. Without serious conservation efforts, many of these rare specimens may never be seen. Yes, that is them. Mom and Dad are home. You're going to be asked to help shortly. Just thinking if you can find a good spot, that would be helpful. Knew it. Knew it. Okay. That's 2 notches down, but I think we want it. It's such a good one to have. I mean, we need it. Sandra has a large enough pool that it should be fine. Okay, good. Okay. Welcome home. I'm not crazy about this one being adjusted. Oh, I didn't mean to leave. I kind of want this one more often, but But there's only some times, but I think I'm going to knock it down one. And then to try to balance, I'm going to knock the... After security lab and boiler. Oh, okay. So I was thinking about knocking it up. Okay. All right, but for now, her ladyships is going to be so much better. You guys need help getting things out of the car? Yep, they need help. Hey, Mom just called out that they need help, please.
Okay, I'll be right there.
All right, bye. Okay. This is pretty cool. The timing. All right. Let's go ahead and do the whole foundation and then just work our way down. Why the heck not? This is the first opportunity since I had that. That was the path. Yeah. Okay. It's the first opportunity we've had since I got the tomb, the Bernie that I could use in 3 places in the tomb, baby. So I love the idea. Now that we actually have it, let's utilize it. Let's see all the things to see in the diary. Also, Pack's on his way up to help. Also, working our way downtown, yes. Working our way downtown. No, 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 no. Let me know if you need me, honey.
I need you, honey.
To help.
I need you in my life.
I know you need me in your life. I need you too, baby.
Would you let the dog in a moment?
I can let the dog in a moment. Okay. There are quite a few diggy spots, but for right now, that is not our main concern. Our main concern is, yeah, I knew it was this one, is getting over here for her ladyship, because it is only available coming down south. Parlor's pretty good for that. Any shiny in the parlor? Okay, there sometimes is. You know, Lily, I haven't gotten a single one wrong since I've got this. All right. The gems are in the white box. The other 2 statements are both true. The gems are not in the blue box. Okay, well, we can't have not in the blue box, are in the white box. We can't have all statements true. Yeah?
You could probably use help putting stuff away.
Okay. Right. More keys is not a bad thing. I am needed for hands-on 1 second. I'll be back ASAP. Okay. I done helped. Grab some grapes to munch on. That one is split, however, and gooey. I missed one. Okay. Both the other statements are true. Okay, that one's false. We know that one's false because these can't all be true. The gems are not in the blue box. That could be true or false. The gems are in the white box. That could be true or false. Right. Those could both be true, and this is false. Oh! Oh! What? What? Wow. Wow. Still lets me go south. I did not fully think that through. This is true. But I tend to just like get all excited and rusty, especially when I've been gone. Looking for shinies. This is good too because yes, the Weast. Get our levers. That's why I'm like, you know what? I don't want to just unlock it. I'm in a spot that I could do this and it's still a through. Oh yeah. Oh, well, I guess I gotta do them all anyway. 1, 2. Usually I do this last. So unlike yesterday, where we had no access to north, south, or excuse me, to west, east, or south, today we have Weast access, both west and east. Weast. Oh yeah, both of them. The only time I haven't done both of them is if I've already got one and then I just turn the other just because there's no point. Okay. Fruit is spread throughout the house, which doesn't really mean a heck of a lot because there's not a lot of house space to spread. No, I want south. Dang it. I want south. I almost re-rolled. They're just more compact. I'm assuming it distributes the same amount. Oh, come on. I do have the die. I don't want to waste it. But I have one more spot down. And of course we can... You say re-roll now? I was going to re-roll in the corner. I mean, this puts me through, and if I don't get it in the corner, I could re-roll again. I don't have the gems for it. Damn it. Oh! Okay. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Something we could actually use. Okay. There's still some spots up. Are you for serious? Are you for serious? I'm gonna get my thing because I still have the entrance hall to come off of. We can still work our way up and south, or go in from the east go in from the east and work our way down. We still have a chance at getting her ladyships. We even made it easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the west wing to here. Din's decent here. Right. We're going to go up the east side and work our way over. I'm just going to fill in some of these little holes. We're going to go across to security and back up. That's my thought too. Let's go across from security and see what we can go up. I would have loved to have that veranda. That's 2 gems. All right. Hey. Pretty sure Packrat is going to have Saturday's leftover Lady Fruit will be in the southeast rooms anyway. Yeah. Yeah, we can just connect over from here. There's some red in that flame that made me think there was an apple when I was first walking up. I'm not gonna lie. There is a banana over there, but that's okay. If I get a shovel, I'll want back down there anyway. Okay, this is hard because the greenhouse lets me go through, but then I gotta hook you back around. I think we need to do the dark room. Now I have, right, now that's my option, Crispy. We do the dark room and we randomly draw up. Or we try to get the, oh hell, let's just do it. Oh. On one hand, it's dice. On the other hand, oof. 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 Connects to nothing. Yeah, that's what I was just debating. I'm gonna go up here. Calypso! Knock it off! Wow. What a bizarro route. I'm pretty sure I have that. Oh, dude, are you serious? Are you serious? What a crappy roll. Dining room. Oh, spare room. Dining room. Let's get over to the security. Easier than as curvy as we were. Oh, enjoy your lunch. Okay. Wow. Let's take a look around, see if there's any shinies that we notice in this room. They are easy to miss. Okay, see? Yes. Not that we really need to go back to security, but you know, it's a straight shot over to the conservatory. Okay, we do still have options up in the foundation. Oh, what a twisty path we weave. I'm gonna regret not taking the tunnel. I know I'm gonna regret not taking the tunnel. So gonna regret not taking the tunnel. I don't have to fill in everything. I don't have to. Oh, regrets. I don't have to fill in everything. Okay, up to the secret garden. Tunnel all the way up. Commissary and go back to fountain. The commissary was just dead. Oh, you mean just like to buy stuff? Yeah, I could have bought stuff at the commissary. Okay. Commissary helped to buy gems. Oh. Sorry. Wow. Everything is Leisucky. Dining room. Entrance hall. Pantry. You've made your bed, Missy. Now lie. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Oh my lord. Are you serious? Well, Pops is stirring something out there and tap, tap, tapping, if that's what you're hearing. Wow. 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 Okay. I'm tempted to go back to the dang. I think we have to go back to the entrance hall. I really do. Because the last time I didn't, and then we ended up having shiny things in there that we really could have used. I'm gonna risk a key. Okay. Gained a key. Yes. Okay, we're at the same keys that we started with, but we've gained gems. I can live with that. So last time I ignored that at the observatory. I'm like, yeah, okay, there's 2 things there. And we ended up getting the secret garden key, which would have at least let us get into the antechamber. Okay? Now, at this point, since I've done this, my thinking is out and in. We have more gems. They're the same number of keys, but we have more gems than we did before. So I'm thinking, let's go up from the basement. Go up from the basement, see what we can do. From here to the foundation is a lot nicer than running all crazy face to get up there again. Draw east and then up east side. That's what I'm thinking, is just go and come back around. We already have West open upstairs. Let's try to make it across. Okay. Drawing room. Yeah, baby. Give us some doors and give us some doors with options. Like options not to take it. Like reroll options. Library keeps us moving. Furnace cuts us off. We're going to give it a shot. Commissary keeps us moving the same direction that did. We're taking the commissary. Oh, also, yes, we got our 10 steps. We ate the lunch because we're back up here at level 5 since we had the dining room. Hey, it's a salt shaker. It's a compass. It's a shovel. It's a sledgehammer. All right, these are all fantastic things. No keys, no gems, but still fantastic things. So, from here, I'm going to go up and try to get back to this east edge. Also, the foundation, the conservatory, the secret garden all have dig spots, which is potential. You did have a package at the door. Okay. So we just bought out the commissary. No gems, but we had some gems from the observatory in the front and a couple of chests in the front of house. I ignored those for the first day of the night, and we ended up missing a secret garden key. So I went ahead and went backwards, took care of the entrance hall stuff, then came through the basement to come back up. Ooh, nice. Oh, I love you, attic. But we need some space. Mirror room, also very cool. So we've got 2 dens available last time. There it goes. We have the opportunity to get up and around from over here. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. That's good. And we got those gems from the front. Oh, no, I know I got the hallways. No, I mean, sorry. The 2 gem room. Ooh, that gave me a key. All right. All right. Let's go to the mirror side first. Oh man, my foot is hurting me today. Okay, we get around the other side and we're gonna be golden. Okay. Actually, I think I can go back through to the commissary side. Oh, I thought one of these... Yes! One of these is up. Nice. Okay. So we can't quite get to the middle, the precious, precious middle button. All right, let's go north. Right? Yeah, last night Kinka did help on the mirror. I had been up there before and I'd even moused around, but I hadn't apparently realized that as I tried clicking and touching things, I didn't actually touch the cabinet just right. So I'm like, okay. And then the next time was like, hey. You mean pressing the door, the one I already did in the beginnings? Hello. Oh, I didn't do that one when I scooched in that room. Uh-huh. No, that's just lowering them. Because I gotta be in the middle part. Okay. Let's go to where we just were. Middle access to the north door. Well, that's what I was hoping to get to next. Was the north door. But if not... I gotta go through the north. Okay. I'm going north. That was my next plan. We're going north. I'm gonna do the tunnel. Oh, hey, I actually have a place to dig here. As we go backwards, we'll have places to dig. And if we need to... Oh, several places to dig. I've done the tunnel and not had any places to dig before. Okay, let's see what we can get. Are you serious? I mean... This is Les Suck. This is Les Suck. I mean, we'll get some keys. Now we can still we still have the passageway and the foundation options. If we can get into the antechamber, as long as we can get into the antechamber, then we can go across the other way. But le pew, le pew. Absolutely le pew. All right. Right. I'm thinking, yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Let's go through the passageway. Okay, that's actually probably the best we could hope for right now. There have been like little coins on the side and crap, so I'm just checking. Hi, I looked earlier. No, they... Oh, the cursed conference I didn't see was already done. I'm like, what? All right. Okay. You know, this is we could still get a chance to get down. Now'd be a great time for the courtyard. Wow. Wow. No, if I can go right, we might still have it. Meanwhile, Curse of Blackbridge. What? I was already thinking we might want to chuck the key. But we might still get it. The legend of Blackbridge is one that's well known to the people of the Grand Realm, for versions of this tale have been passed down from generation to generation. With each new telling, the story has changed, becoming, over the years, more colorful, more verbose, and, as one might expect, increasingly horrifying. Just glancing for shinies. However, with so many renditions and unique personal touches, the task of confining and binding this tale to text seemed an ambitious and impossible challenge. Over the course of my research, I have heard dozens of variations of the legend. And while the details would often change, I was surprised how much of the story's heart remained the same. Yet the more I listened, the clearer it became that there could never be a definitive version of this tale capable of capturing all the wonder and myth of Blackbridge. In the end, I chose to write down what I felt most authentic, the story my grandmother told me as a boy, long, long ago. By Redford Ewing. Part 1. The Berry Picker from Oris. Many years ago, before peace had become a familiar word, there lived a group of rogues, so wayward that the locals deemed it appropriate to call their number the Unholy Hounds. They were feral outlaws, composed of society's worst in a time when society was at its worst, and for each crime that fearful travelers credited to the group, a dozen more lay unclaimed, each worse than the last. For the gentry, however, who often value their coffers more than their companions, no crime could measure more wicked than the group's primary enterprise, high-road robbery. One such member of this so-called band of rogues was a boy of 13 years, Jesper, who had not been lucky in life, having lost 2 brothers to war and parents to famine. In the years of hunger that followed, Jesper lived in a gutter behind a churchyard, relying on the nourishment of scurrying bugs and weeds harvested from the cracks of the alleyway to sustain his pitiful existence. It's not surprising that a child aiming to escape such hardships would take any easy road out, an easy and well-traveled road, paved with temptations, leading out of the city and into the gentry lands, where loose purse strings entwine with the strands of salvation and glisten equally with the hope of opportunity. It was this road that eventually led Jesper to the end of his youth, a hidden cave at the bottom of Blackridge Canyon. It was here that he met his surrogate family and saviors, that notorious gang of godless outlaws known as the Unholy Hounds. Despite the hardened circumstances that had led him to this vocation of banditry, Jesper was surprisingly tender-hearted and was often teased by the group for being too kind for such an ignoble life. For this reason, Jesper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just innocence that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of night's concealment. Jesper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he alone worked while the others slept soundly, tucked away in the cave at the bottom of Blackridge Canyon. On one such occasion, Jesper decided to get an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, and set out in the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the morning, but the headway dawn afforded meant Jesper could reach the furthermost berry patches without worry of being chastised for tarrying upon his return. It took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination, and along the way Jesper had passed by many a familiar bush, all priorly pillaged and so bereft of berries that one would have dedicated several moments in earnest examination before finding a single one. Jesper was patient, but even patience has its limits. He was confident that even accounting for the time lost to this long stretch of travel, his efforts would be well worth the pains. Surveying the patches of this new grove surprised even Jesper. The red dots suspended among the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the sky. Upon seeing such a bounteous sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and nearly toppled over out of joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jesper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of his confederates, who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jesper set off to fill his basket and was making steady strides in his task when the sound of thundering hooves interrupted him. "A carriage! A carriage is approaching!" The thought of it made Jesper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by his discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept toward the impending sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. It was only a moment before the sound source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jesper hid, an elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring around a corner of trees, led by two beautiful white horses, and conveyed by a stern-looking driver seated atop the vehicle, flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jesper had ever seen. It was not just any carriage. It was a royal carriage. Even without ever having witnessed such a sight before, Jesper was certain. The sight had so transfixed Jesper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment the bush provided was soon proven unequal to the driver's lofty perch, and upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such effort that the noble steed slid to a sudden halt with precise control. "You, boy! Get out from behind that bush!" he shouted with a rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear. "You startled me half to death coming round the bend of my own drive, and me seeing such an unfamiliar face in a place where there ought not be any face." Jesper quickly contemplated running. The man was much older, and his dress was suitable for courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud. I was picking berries." Jesper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see the proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was a change that Jesper was familiar with. He had many times seen the same stern expressions on the most fiendish bandits melt away when presented with the berry basket. Any suspicions that the driver might have had instantly evaporated, for even the notion of a member of the unholy hounds picking berries seemed farcical. The softened expression even made allowances for a smile. "Berries, eh? Say, you couldn't have picked a better spot for them, could you? I used to pick berries there as a boy." Jesper took his cue to finally step forward out from behind the bush, proudly brandishing his basket. "I know, and what luck I found them. I have only just begun picking, and look how many I have. It would have taken me fourfold the time back home to procure this number." The driver bent down for a closer look. "And where is your home, boy? It must be quite far." Jesper replied with a scripty response. "A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burnt woods." "My God, that is far! You couldn't have come all that way only this morning." It was true, Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jesper had traveled, and while the response could seem perfectly reasonable on a location closer to Blackbridge Canyon, he could see why it might seem less believable here. "Sir, I have traveled much farther for much less profit. I dare say there is no distance yet made by man that would not be worth undertaking for a prize such as these. Surely you have tasted them for yourself." Jesper felt happier with his response, as it seemed to amplify the man's smile. "In my youth, often, but perhaps I took it for granted because I never had to travel very far, and even then my father would always drive us here in our carriage, so I'm ashamed I never had to walk such a stretch to earn an equal reward." It was Jesper's time to smile. "Then let my efforts reward us both today." He raised the basket even higher. "A taste in memory of your youth, sir." The driver chuckled and removed one glove. Sorry, I kind of want to see this real quick. The driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket. And at the moment his fingers touched the first berry, the dagger in turn met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jesper caught the man's startled eyes. "And for that taste I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my youth." The driver's arm had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling, more frightened than he had ever been before. Whether unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think his jaw could afford to be engaged at that particular time. Jesper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets. Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me no cause. Though I will admit the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you to the indignity of walking appeals to me. Unable to find a purse in the man's coat, Jesper pivoted to search the seat under him. Why have you no purse upon your person? The driver slowly raised his hand, cautiously, pointing towards the carriage door behind him. Jesper lowered the knife's edge a small degree to allow the man to speak, which he did, in turn, very softly. There's a lockbox in the carriage. Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands, a concession, I assure you, of my tender heart, for it would be much easier to slit your throat. The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seat of the carriage. Once down, Jesper guided him away from the carriage to a nearby tree, where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hands behind his back. Excusing his inexperience, the man indulged Jesper while he figured out how to adequately bind him. The smile and kindness Jesper had seen in the man's face, now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold, dark eyes displaying no emotion. I wonder, should I grant you the same clemency you are showing me? Jesper stopped, surprised by the question, but ignored it, secured the final bindings, and then hastily returned to the carriage. With one hand on the door's handle, he turned back to the man. If there is no lockbox, there will be no clemency. Inside the carriage was surprisingly dusty and unswept, a stark contrast to the elegant and polished golden facade of the exterior. It had apparently been years since a passenger had enjoyed passage in this vehicle. This all but confirmed what Jesper had suspected. The driver of this carriage was not a liveried servant in the employ of some great master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested under the carriage's back seat. A large wooden lockbox. Despite its hefty appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jesper had dislodged it from its hold and carried it out to the sunlight. Inspecting the box carefully, 2 observations were made. Totemic symbols found carved on all 4 sides of the box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by Ordanian hands. It reminded him of artifacts from the old world and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient realms. The driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket. At that moment, his fingers touched the first berry. The dagger, in turn, met his throat, cutting through a Did I just go backwards? I did go backwards. What? 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 Okay. I did somehow go backwards, so there we go. Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and would not open easily without a key. Jesper looked over to see the driver quietly observing from his indentured position. Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me to open this box? Without emotion, the driver replied, There is no key to that box. Jesper stood up. Easy enough, then. He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimensions and lifted up the stone, carrying it back to the box. If there was ever a time when that lock had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. He bent back down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jesper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised how heavy it seemed given how light the box had felt. Having expected to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. The driver's smile had once again returned. You are cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should never have been opened, and you are cursed. Jasper carried the effigy over to the man and shoved it in front of his face. "What is it?" "That's one," feeling his disappointment rising to anger again now. Jasper tightened his grip on the effigy. "One what, you mumbling agitator? And what in God's name have you no purse upon your person?" The man did not seem intimidated. "One pace," he paused for effect. 12 more, and you will be dead." He only had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his cryptic ramblings. If there was ever a time when the old man had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. Jasper looked down at the sculpted stone figure, now splattered red. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had, of course, heard stories of curses and had never doubted their validity in the past. But now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. And if he was cursed, what difference would that knowledge make? A dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul, to say nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy. If he did not move from where he now stood, he could live yet another 3 or 4 days, maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries. A plan that, if we ignore its obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do? To be discovered here, beside a body, stolen goods in hand, bloated from berries, and raving about a curse that could very well not be real? No. It would most certainly be better to face one's fate now. Take a dozen paces and see if, in fact, life goes on. But Jasper found his legs unable to make that first step. His mind was unable to convince his limb to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, he hopelessly looked about him for a solution, and if, by some stroke of luck, the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him as he found himself suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. 2 white horses and a carriage of golden trim were beside him, the answer to his immediate prayers. He laughed at his fortune and calculated the short number of paces back to the road, 4, perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. He thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as that appeared to be of some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a task was too great to chance. And so after a profound breath, he took his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th steps, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized that he was still gripping the effigy. Wow. Wow. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made of the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox whose typical function oft secures objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horror of destitution, Jasper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand to let go. If it is cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow. And if I die, what care have I? And with that statement said aloud to the horses, seemingly, Jasper took up the reins with confidence. Part 2. Is this about the box we bought that's in the shrine? That's what I'm wondering, too. Stone in the hands. Below the Black Bridge. Miller awoke to some light nudging from a familiar foot. Only one person would have the cheek to awaken her in such ill-mannered fashion. Shaking the sleep from her eyes, she glared up at him in the darkness, but did not say a word. He nudged her again, teasingly, then stepped back into the dim. After taking a moment for her eyes to adjust to the darkness of the cave, Miller remembered. She was on 3rd watch today. All right, quietly collecting her things and wits, Miller turned as she left, waving to her young friend, who was more than likely already asleep. She crept through the cavern's main passage, careful to not wake the sleeping bandits around her. Like a hero in a book, she often mused. Quietly, she grabbed a bow from the haphazardly formed pile of weapons, shaking the accompanying quiver in the darkness to assess how many arrows it held. She then walked towards the sun-drenched mouth of the cavern, ready to start her shift. Above her, in one of the few trees found in the canyon, Miller could see that Ravia was already posted. She waved, and Ravia waved back. Calling out to each other was strictly forbidden. Anything louder than a gesture in the canyon was forbidden. When Miller reached the tree, Ravia lowered the braided rope and pointed to the ground behind her. Miller turned, following the finger, and saw a pail of water resting beside a nearby log. She turned back to Ravia, nodded, and secured the pail to the rope. The pail went up first, and in turn, Miller followed. Ravia reached across to grab the water. Miller leaned back to give her space. There was not much room for maneuvering in this tree post, a necessary concession for the concealment the outpost demanded. Ravia tilted the pail up to her mouth, dramatically illustrating how thirsty she had been. Miller laughed silently as water poured out, splashing onto Ravia's face. It was a bit too daring and noisy of a joke, and had the others been around, they would have certainly been scolded for the unwarranted sound. But Miller appreciated the efforts Ravia took to verbalize the silence of the morning. They had been on third watch together for over a month, and during that speechless time their friendship had grown into something special. Affection was unsurprisingly scarce among the unholy hands. She had felt camaraderie before, of course, but intimacy? Never. From their elevated vantage, the girls could see both the concealed entrance of the cavern as well as a clear view of the bridge that spanned across the canyon. Black Bridge was the link between the Gentry lands and the northern mountains, the overpass that connected Oris and Reddington to the city-faring travelers at the realm. The bridge was an unavoidable crossing. In the day, the task to ensure that travelers passed by without stopping. At night, the task was to ensure that they do. Like most of her band, Miller preferred the night. The biting glare of the sun might be tolerable to farmhands and bricklayers, but to a cavern-housed bandit it was a source of constant annoyance. In the day, there was no shroud to conceal her expressions, nor to hide her thoughts. She felt exposed. Ravia touched her elbow and pointed up. Miller, striving to suppress a budding smile, subtly shook her head in response. There were many signs that the unholy hounds used in lieu of words, but the two of them had developed an extended vocabulary. Just making sure I hadn't skipped a thing. Gestures quietly forged in the shared solitude of their month-long among the branches. She watched as Ravia shifted, placing her palms flat on the floorboards beneath her. Miller knew what she was trying to say, but shook her head a second time. It was often more fun to pretend not to understand. Ravia rolled her eyes and turned away, looking back to the canyon. Squinting through the leaves, the two girls held still, watching and listening. It was not long until Miller, too, heard the sounds of approach. Ravia held up two bent fingers, and a few moments later, two men emerged from the bridge's southern end. They were dressed in a familiar uniform, long gray coats with black facings, white waistcoats, and black tricorn hats. They belonged to the local patrol, the Blackguard. Although not an everyday occurrence, their presence at Blackbridge was an unusual sight. It typically indicated an important traveler's impending passage across the bridge, information the girls had promptly relayed to their leaders as soon as the coast was clear. But this report, while exciting, was rarely acted upon. In Miller's 5 years in the unholy hand, she had never once seen a carriage taken in open daylight when the Blackguard was nearby. The men had nearly reached the bridge's north end when Miller heard the horses, faintly at first, but growing louder with each passing moment. Ravia's eyes met Miller's, the same concern mirrored in each other's expression. They did not sound like the typical carriage. Cautiously approaching the bridge to cross, instead of the familiar crunch of the high road's gravel, they heard the harsh clattering of hoofbeats against stone. Both girls quickly redirected their attention downward, looking through the foliage. The sound was not coming from the high road, but from the canyon itself. The horses were coming from below the bridge. In an instant, Miller had notched an arrow and drawn her bow. Go! Ravia was gone before the whisper had even left Miller's mouth. The young scout was already sliding down the bank below, racing toward the cave. There was no road that ran below the canyon. There was no reason for numerous horses to be approaching their cave. There was only one reasonable conclusion, and both girls had reached it instantly. Their base had been compromised. This was a blackguard attack. The moment the horses came into view, Miller let loose her first arrow. She was surprised to see a carriage. She had expected cavalry. Before she even finished processing that thought, her second arrow was in the air. Without a trail, it would be unthinkable for a carriage to traverse through rough country, rough terrain. Yet she watched as the wheels jolted over the rocky riverbed. A third arrow was now in flight, and there would be no need for a fourth. The driver slumped over just moments before the vehicle dipped into a small ditch, slamming into an embankment. The force of this sudden halt immediately shattered the front two wheels and catapulted the driver from his seat. Utterly confused now, Miller quickly glanced over her shoulder to see if any horses were also approaching from the rear. Down in the canyon, the entire horde of the unholy hounds came spilling forth from the earth as if hell itself had suddenly sprung open. The group seemed even more bewildered than Miller. Half asleep and tripping over one another in a desperate attempt to engage an unseen enemy in combat, Miller could see Ravia among their number, the only one looking up at her. Her expression was chilling. There would be no need for a silent gesture to convey what they both now realized. They had made a mistake. The gang's chieftain, Jeffrey Heartslasher, led the others, cautiously approaching the crashed carriage like a suspicious fox would hear a baited trap. There were no words exchanged as the group crept forward in customary silence. A dozen or so paces in front of the wreckage lay the far-flung driver, an arrow protruding from his broken body, and beside him the blood-stained effigy carved from stone. Miller was inconsolable. Jesper had always been her favorite. He had always shadowed her in the night, clinging to the hems of her every move, the way a child tails behind an older sibling. Tender-hearted she had always called him, though deep down she had known that wasn't quite true. His appearance of gentleness concealed the raw, resilient durability that emerged in the most perilous of situations. He had been a flower among the nettles of this cave, but he still had thorns, honed by a grim past and 100 hands of misfortune. They buried him in the darkness in the back of one of the larger cavern rooms. He was interred with a berry basket and a silk handkerchief that he treasured. The mysterious effigy they had found beside him served as a distinguished gravestone, a marker that stood out as somewhat special among the rows of similar swords marking neighboring plots. No one spoke, not even in whispers. There was, after all, nothing to say. What a cool picture. Yeah, I see it. Little effigy in the middle. Miller awoke the next day to a thunderous shaking and rattling of the earth, a far cry from the playful nudging of the next day. She strained to adjust her eyes, but the choking sting of stirred-up dust caused her to flinch. Panic was also in the air. The sounds of scurried footsteps and clattering feet filled the space around her, but even in alarm, the silence was louder. What was it that sounded so strange? Miller closed her eyes tight and used her feet to guide her along the passage. The whispers around her were getting louder. The intense voices could be heard ahead, louder speech than she had ever heard spoken in the canyon. A growing dread grew as Miller approached the mouth of the cave, her eyes now open wide despite the dust. Shouldn't it be day? Miller found a hand in the darkness pulling at her. It was Ravia. The two embraced, and Miller did not need to see her to understand. Ravia placed 2 bent fingers against Miller's cheek, and with that touch against her face, Miller felt the same sinking feeling from the previous day. 2 bent fingers confirmed what Miller had suspected. The girls had forgotten to relay one critical piece of information to the others. An hour or so later, the screams began. blood-curdling cries of hopeless desperation. Captain Foderick Lee of the Blackguard looked down from the ridge of the canyon to the collapsed entrance of the cave. Ah, he grinned. Now they speak. So he saw what came. They forgot to say. Wow. That's rough. That's rough. Wow. Now you do know that the next book we check out is going to be, right? That was a really long one too. You do know the next book we're going to check out. You know we're going to check out a new clue again. I did not, in fact. Hey, aquarium. That's what I want to see. I did not, in fact. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I have 2 gems, so I might be able to do another. We're going to go to the right. Although we're not going to be able to go down properly. So I don't think we're going to be able to get the room. But we might still be able, that might still be considered down from, you know, a south door. We might. Let's go this way and see what happens. Imagine whoever handled the effigy when burying Jesper took more than 13 steps. Mailroom, vault, rotunda. Neither of those can be done. Neither of those can be done. Mailroom. Hey, we might still be able to... we're going to get another package tomorrow. And you know what? We might still be able to get up to the antechamber. It's open up there. So I was just kind of hoping from the other direction first. No. It's our only shot. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. Sail! Aquarius. So we have our 2 shops. Up 3 because the aquarium counts as a shop. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Antechamber. Here we go. Here we go. Antechamber. Here we go. I know we would. We would have had letters to read. Foyer. Hey, that gets us across. All right, so we're kind of screwed. Ta-da! We're kind of screwed as far as, you know, we're not going to get her ladyships. I really don't want to have to wait for the tomb to get it again. So oh yeah, I got the quest bedroom. I should get my, yeah. Thank you. All right, well, let's go west. We came in there. Let's go here. West. West is open. Gymnasium, the study, the nursery. Well, gymnasium. Yeah, yep, exactly. I can check the diary. And that's the thing I was just thinking is I really don't want to just wait. And I know we lose a fancy lockpick, but I don't want to just wait until we get the the tomb to have a chance at getting her ladyship's room again, right? I do. I have a break room. In fact, my break room is right out the entrance hall. The tomb and the chambers in the same day is really difficult. Yeah, I feel like I should I don't have a thing. Okay, let's just do the spare bedroom. Right, I'll be able to still have the key card. Thanks. The fancy lockpick goes a lot of the time. I mean, do I want to try to redraw? What am I trying to redraw? Oh, yeah, I want the Hall of Mirrors. I want the mirrors. This will still let me get to the far side. Try one reroll. Okay. Give me gem. Yeah, I accidentally bought that last time. That's pretty cool. You know, the moon pendant wouldn't be a bad thing to wear. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check the diary key. Right, right. And then I might get to keep something that I've got. Which honestly is so good. There's not a big reason to do either bunk room or the walk-in closet. We'll do the pool just to move on. You don't get to pick what it keeps. Oh yeah, but two things. And I will put away the diary. This is what I want to get to. At this point, if we get a freezer, oh, hell's bells. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. I want to get into the center. None of you have the center. Oh, I didn't touch that yet. Okay. Hey, hey. Wait. Center was accessible, but from this side, which I don't have. Come on, somebody open up a side door. That's so rude. So rude. I don't want those down, man. I want to get in the middle. Get in the middle. Yep. I know. Alright, well, it just so happened that that one sucked. But I'm going to go ahead and draw from the pool. See what we get. If it's a freezer, that would be spectacular. You know what? Sauna works for me too. Bonus steps tomorrow. Bonus steps tomorrow. Okay, so we need to get down to our coat check and the break room. Both of which are probably a lot easier to get to. Oh, Lily, get yourself some food. Definitely. Wow. We're gonna... Ooh, we're gonna go straight north. Yep, we're gonna go straight north. So ending with the or you know, straight this way. So we're gonna go through here. It's gonna be my quickest way to the foundation. Oh, take your dinner meds, good sir. Oh wait, you're not gonna go through. Oh damn it, I forgot. There's no access there. Alright, well, we'll just sneak it this way. Sneak it. And I now have 47. Talk about snaky. I now have 47. Yep. 47. 57. Excuse me. I now have 57. There we go. I mean, I could dig some stuff up here. It doesn't seem like there's much point. I'm certainly not... There's no reason for me to go all the way around to the conservatory and crap and dig. We are cut off. The house is cut off from us. And that's fine. And I feel fine. Alright, we're gonna go from the bottom. Coat check the daggum diary key. Because diary key. Diary key. Yeah. Diary key. So we're gonna go out here. I mean, we could grab some money from from the tomb, but again, why? We didn't even get the chapel that run to worry about trying to go wiggle, 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 wiggle. Right, you know what? You're right. You had the key. We had to know that the game is going to be like, oh, hell no. So both of these are really pretty close from the beginning, from the entrance. So that's good. This is going to be also the third day in a row. Coat check is this way. It's also going to be the third day in a row. Yeah. That we get mail. Which is pretty dang cool. Diary key. Diary key. Alright, and then the break room is exactly off the entrance room, which is off the entrance hall, which is where we are going to call it. Should be right around here. I saw it in the corner of my eye as I was walking past. All right. So, honestly, we did the best we could. That's about all I can say, is I did the best I could. It wasn't great. So we're slipping here. We're automatically going to get the key card. Hopefully the key card isn't one of the two things that it decides to say for us. Let's call it. Call it. Architects Shopping Center of Tomorrow. Ha! 6 drafting rooms. Oh yeah, I guess the library's a drafting room. 4 shop rooms, 4 tomorrow rooms. Save and continue.